This may be sideways. All right, Jim, we're live.
So what's up?
Jim says, I made the video title. Jim says, beat the bankers for Passover.
Beat the bankers.
For Passover.
For life, which Passover represents life.
Yeah, oh, you know, a cool thing I learned was that Jesus actually whipped them twice.
Oh, really? I know about the one, the turntable.
Yeah, so
You gotta clear my front here.
it was a separate Passover.
My bad.
Because his ministry was, like 3.5 years. I guess 42 months, something like that.
All right.
All right. So anyway, my point is that if you do a timeline, not each of the Gospels start at the same spot. Like Luke jumps in before that with either with John the Baptist and Mary learning she was going to conceive.
Wow, I just did.
So my point is that there was 2 instances where Jesus whipped the moneylenders on a Passover. So it's kind of like a cool tradition. You know, he's trying to hey, why don't you guys just go ahead and whip the bankers every Passover, right? He didn't just do it once. That's 2 witnesses.
True.
Right? So I think it's in Mark where the first one was. Like, he did one more toward the beginning, and he did one right before he was assassinated. Right? Because there's the whole thing of, who's king? Is it Herod? Is it Jesus? Is it Caesar? Who makes the law? Right? The king makes the law. So if everybody's duped into thinking Caesar does, you end up with
serving 2 masters.
Drag time, story hour, right? Because Herod and Caesar's whatever you want. What the people want, just keep paying, right?
Right.
Just keep using my money with my inscription on it. And so anyway, for Passover, we're trying to kick it off that
My Jew banker lender control mechanism is going off because you're not in compliance with the seatbelt.
Oh, a seatbelt infraction.
Yeah.
I was violating a seatbelt infraction.
Now you can buckle it behind you. It's just, but that is annoying.
Yeah. That's all about getting you to submit.
I understand. Pavlov's dogs. Ring the bell, get a treat. Annoying sound.
Nelson, Vicky says, hey Wayne, your video is sideways. Yeah, it's counterclockwise. I think it should be this way. So I always try to hold it sideways because when I upload it to YouTube, it just works better in that format. Yeah. Sure. So anyway, we're building pools with Jim. Nelson, Nikki says, better mankind. It's good now. Thank you. So thanks for that. So Jim's back building pools today. How you feel? Like we're back?
Welcome to boot camp.
We're having a good time building the pool, right?
57, still bringing it.
So I've been working with some teenagers, and they to say that they are nihilistic is like they don't believe in anything. But in the other hand, I'm just nonstop listening to stuff that help give you the edge to fight these devils, because we're just trying to figure out what happened. Like, how come there's really a thing called drag queen story time? How is it that that's really a thing? How's that? And then if you look back into history, you have Sodom and Gomorrah, and it just tells the whole story. So we're trying to go back into our history, and we find out that our king...
Pulling up destination. Google Maps so they can track me for a more efficient record of my existence. Sorry.
So the moneylenders, we're going to have a thing on Passover in a couple weeks on the 27th. What would be a good toddler game to teach the kids to whip the bankers? If I dress up as a banker, right, and I just had them all chase me with whips, right? And if they got me, they got some candy or something.
That'd be pretty epic.
How could, what would, if you're going to teach...
They get a gold star.
If you're teaching a dog, how would you teach a dog?
I'm just saying, in the indoctrination system known as public education, they get a gold star when they're young. That works. So. Be cheap, man. Little piece of tinfoil. Think.
Yeah, we got to give them little honor badges, like the Boy Scouts. We need Boy Scouts for toddlers, that if you whip a moneylender when you're aged 4, you get...
It's right there, about a mile. Sweet.
Let's do it.
Destination. Refreshments.
There's Nelson. Nikki says, "Good gold star."
She gets the joke. It's satire.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is we have a demeritocracy now that like the more like if you're a little boy, what they want to brainwash the toddlers into. Oh, you want to be into Christmas and Easter and your birthday. That's the most important thing in the whole world. Or worse, you're just your own narcissistic lusts, right? Just to spoil the kids so that they're just like the kids that I'm working with now. They grew up with plenty of money, but they've got no. They don't believe in anything. You know, like your sons. Like, what do they believe in?
It's embarrassing to it, but I have the hiccups. True story. I had double clutched on a word that I was about to describe. One of my nearby neighbors driving, and I realized I was live streaming, so I double clutched that and ended up giving myself the hiccups. Instant karma. Yeah, true story. Do not speak evil upon those, but do good to those who are evil to you. Yeah, see, that's why.
So like you coach like boys sports, like the things that they get taught is basically a hierarchy of dominance through sports.
Well, it's skills and leadership.
But it's never to serve the true king. It's to serve the false king. And
well, it does teach camaraderie and teamwork, but yeah, it's all part of the programming, step by step, inch by inch.
Because there's the military aspect of all that, which it just takes you. Yeah, go serve the Pentagon.
It's embarrassing. You can film you for a while.
The Pentagon. Yeah, go serve for those guys for a while. What bad could happen?
Can't wait to get some water.
Okay, check this out, Nelson. If you've got coaching for the hiccups.
Yeah.
It says, plug your ears and drink a bottle of water.
I got nothing to drink, bro. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, we're going to get something to drink. Your hiccups will go away. You have to hold the bottle with your teeth.
Come on. Bite the monkey. I'm sorry, I should not have said that.
Plug your ears and drink a bottle of water.
No, I mean, I'm 57. I learned how to get rid of hiccups about 10. It's cool, though. Thanks for the love.
How do you... I can't even...
There's several methods. The one I use is you take 3 deep breaths, deep as you can, slow and relaxed. You exhale the last one. Chug a pint of water, a little more if you can handle it, 20 ounces. Immediately after, you hold your breath to a count of 30. And they're gone.
It's a reset.
Yeah, true story.
It's like a reset.
The other one that worked for me was think of the last rabbit you saw.
Whoa, that's psychological. So one's kind of physical.
And you just witnessed it. No more hiccups.
You did the rabbit thing? Which one? Yeah.
I ventured it in my mind. I saw it while I was dredging in a swamp.
See, why? I wonder if you could just do it with holding your breath. I don't think
Possibly.
so.
Oh, you might pass out, too. There's something in the water that helps prevent that. I don't know what it is. But...
All right. So just like what that is that's wisdom. You have a problem, right? And over the course of your lifetime, you develop a technique that works to solve that problem, right? That's wisdom, right? That's something that's not necessarily in a book anywhere or whatever. Sure. It's wisdom.
Things passed down through tradition.
Yeah. Well, similarly, a tradition that we should have as believers is that every Passover, we tie up some leather cords and we whip some bankers. Right? We should just get in the habit of doing that every Passover. That should be a thing. But who does that? When they do the Easter observation at churches that you've attended.
Well, of course, the colonial people did. They would hang a lot of these evil people in effigy when they tried to bring usury. They would hang them in effigy or unfair lending practices.
Chase the snakes.
Yeah, leveraging the market for certain textiles and things. The people would rally together, and burn these people in effigy.
Yeah. Remember how everything went wrong? Remember how you're working all the time?
Last rabbit you saw.
Remember how you're working all the time for jobs that you don't necessarily like very much, and you would sooner be spending it with your children? Right?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that, because I'm doing that right now. Because, it's awesome hanging with Jim again, because I've been hanging out and building pools with a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, and they don't care about it. They care about cars. they just like, oh, like they hear a car, like you're working, you can't even see a car, and you'll hear like, they'll go, oh, that sounds like a Lambo. Oh, I think that was a Maserati, or oh, that was a tricked out Mazda or something like that.
It was a Honda Civic, man.
Right, so that's the thing that they've been taught through video games and all the...
To focus their attention upon.
Right. But imagine we were to change that at every Passover.
Who we pay. And the greatest thing we can pay with is our time. You've been duped.
Yeah, and exactly, our time is our labor. Right?
Yeah,
because if we don't get control of what we put our labor into, we're basically just harnessed up. And Jim always says, spit the bit.
Spit the bit. It's human farming. It's you know, and it's human trafficking, animal farming.
Human resource management.
Exactly, man. It's an animal farm. I mean, George Orwell. That wasn't fiction. It wasn't fiction.
We had that in high school. Did you have Animal Farm in high school? It was a condemnation of the Soviet Union, and saying, "Oh, look,
socialism fails."
And they would say like some animals are more equal. Yeah, some animals are more equal than other animals. Right, so they sell you that, oh, we're all the same.
More precious to the ecosystem. Usury. Jew.revolt.
Yep, Jew.revolt.com. My battery's about dead, so thanks for tuning in the comments, Nikki. Oh my God, Nelson, Nikki. My vision is going. There's something in Hebrew name that's there. I can't read that. So thanks for checking out the stream. We're going to win. We just got to start practicing whipping money lenders every Passover and removing consent for Exodus. Exodus means remove consent to man's system of law. That's what Passover means. Exodus is remove your allegiance to all of man's authority.
Yeah, I just broke several man's authority laws.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Got a hoopty, baby.
All right,
got a new little whip.
Jim,
hey, Jim's back.
Final words of wisdom, Jim.
Hey, love you guys. Seriously, it's hard to do this, but don't return evil for evil. And even if your friends call you enemies for telling them the truth, that's also the word. So,
yeah.
Spread love. Be forgiving.
The sword. Time for the word. The sword.
Humble warriors. If that's a thing, you know. Humble warriors.
I like it.
Be ready to bring the fire, but spread peace and love. And victory over the bankers.
Jew.revolt.com.